I want to thank our parents for joining us today because, again, I know this is a sensitive conversation and they're exposing what's going on in their lives. I'm joined now by Carolyn Coombs and her 10-year-old daughter, Lily Ashley Neal, and her 14-year-old daughter, Olivia, and Shanisha Boswell and her 9-year-old daughter, Cameron. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's get some of this out of the way that you're going through. Caroline, we just heard you talk about social media. That
Yeah.
it's not an option for Lily right now. You allowed it for, what was it, about a week before you shut down. What did you see in that 1 week?
So I think there's a few things. So she does have WhatsApp, and WhatsApp, although it's not social media, even having that, I think having group messages, that has already had an impact on her mentality around, why have I been removed, or things like that. And so we don't do groups on WhatsApp messages anymore. She's allowed to have one-to-ones, but no more groups. I did give in to TikTok. I've always said no. She desperately loves all the dances. She loves to do them all. She wants to be TikTok famous, as every 10-year-old probably does. And it came with a list of rules: no comments, no messaging, about literally 10 or 12 different message rules. But in the end, a friend of mine also allowed her daughter to have it, but her daughter didn't tell her mum the rules that I had in place. And we watched over that week how many followers she was getting. Lily wasn't actually getting any because actually no one could see her profile. And there were older men that were started following her. And to be honest, that was it. As soon as I saw that, I said, that's it, you need to come off. Phoned my friend and he said the same thing to her, and she obviously removed her daughter as well.
Shanisha, I saw you shaking your head when Carolyn mentioned the older men seeping into the comments of Lily's friends. That elicited a reaction from you. Why?
Yeah, I think with the internet, we can't really control who has access to our children. You're
Mm.
putting them in a space where they're accessing the World Wide Web, but in the same way that World Wide Web can access them. And so it's very scary because even on a profile picture that looks like a child, this could be an adult person behind this profile. And children are so innocent. So if someone, reaches out to them and they respond, they don't know who they're talking to. They don't know what information they're giving out. And it's so easy to groom a child into giving up more information than they already know, even if their parents have told them, you don't tell someone where you live. You don't tell them these things. But when someone's talking to them, it can just come out.
Ashley, we started out with social media because it seems as if that is the sweet spot of the conversation. That seems to be where the most challenges are. To Carolyn's point, Lily had it for a week, took her off, then let her come back on, but she's on TikTok, but she's not on this. I mean, picking and choosing the platform and juggling the rules of it all is a lot.
It's definitely different for me because we are huge TikTok influencers. So I have a different process of it all. Again, Olivia's 14. I definitely agree with like the younger age. Um, like I have an 8-year-old son and I would never let him have a public profile on TikTok. But Olivia and I have had several conversations. She knows what to look out for to not like, you know what I mean. She's pretty aware, and I feel like one of the positives of letting Olivia have her social media is it's a outlet for her,
Yeah.
and she really likes to express herself on there. Um, I feel like there's some positives.
Well, and there are. I mean, listen, that's what Carolyn was saying. Lily enjoys the videos and it's fun. And,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about this a little bit later. My niece, she's really into cosplay and the anime world, and she creates these videos. So we know that there is good there. I'm curious because, as you mentioned with Olivia, she has a huge following on TikTok. I feel like parents receive TikTok content a little better, that they believe that it's a little safer. But that said, Ashley, you've said you won't let your son on, or at least have a public account because of his age, at age 8. What age would you let him have one?
I would say maybe like 13. And Olivia's just always, we've always had these talks. So My son isn't really
I don't mean to interrupt you,
into
but you know what I love about this answer is it's a moving target. You're like, maybe not. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
And you
I
start
don't.
thinking about the kid because she's thinking, well, Olivia at 14 was a bit different than he is right now. And you start to individualize the answer based on the child. And I'm sure that's hard for him because he'll point out, well, you let Olivia do it at such and such age, and I can't. Before we go to break, I do want to bring up another component as it relates to social media, and that, Shanisha, is how the kids present themselves. I know, Cameron, you've had conversations with mom about makeup because that plays a part in social media. You have the fun videos, but it's the filters, it's the desire to look a certain way or reflect what others are doing. What happened in the home, Shanisha, as it relates to makeup?
Yeah, so I was in the restroom getting ready one night to go out, and I was putting on makeup, and my daughter comes in the room, and she's my biggest fan, right? And so she says, "Well, mommy, you don't need makeup. You look great without makeup." And it was such an innocent comment, but it took a moment for me to kind of sit down with her and explain to her that just because I wear makeup, it's okay. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that I'm pretty. It doesn't mean that I have insecure issues with myself. And so just letting her know that it's a way that I find expression. And we've had nights where I've let her just play in makeup. She doesn't like it, but it's okay for me. I feel like it's okay for her to dress up and look nice and um, understand that as who she is, as she gets older, she can express herself how she wants to.
I'm so intrigued by this, Carolyn. Lily, who is 10, came to you to talk to you about crop tops and the desire to wear crop tops. There are no shortage of crop top videos on social media. So take me to the moment your 10-year-old baby comes to you and asks about crop tops.
She wasn't even 10. She was about 7.
And how long did it take for you to regain consciousness? Because I would have been out.
To get me off the floor was about 10 minutes. And then I said, no. So she does have crop tops now as a 10-year-old. When she was 8, that came with rules as well. You're not allowed to wear it outside of the house. She wasn't allowed to wear it outside of the house at all. But as a 10-year-old, she can in the summer.
Lily, you were 7 when you asked your mom about wearing a crop top. What made you ask her that?
I guess I just think it's like cool, I think.
So you're not sure why you wanted to wear it, but you knew you wanted to wear it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, this brings me back to the heart of the conversation, which is the influence of social media. Shanisha, I know you are an author, you're a blogger, you write a lot about this, and you have screen time limit at your home. What is the cutoff for Cameron? Is it like 7 o'clock p.m.?
It's 7 p.m. We have a really strict. Her phone is very strict, but she's had a phone since she was 7. She's 9 years old now. And so her phone cuts off at 7 p.m. and doesn't come back on until 7 a.m.
Well, I have to be honest with you, when I was reading your background and seeing your story, I was surprised that it was 7. I don't know why that felt late to me. No mom judge, let me tell you. I thought she was going to say, you know what, 5 o'clock, that's that. 7 o'clock, how did you come up with that sweet spot?
So even with it being at 7, she's in school. She doesn't get off the bus until about 4 p.m. She gets home. She might have to clean her room or do homework or read a book. And so she's still only spending about an hour of time on the phone, which may be from 6 to 7 o'clock after she's done everything else. But any earlier than that, the phone isn't really being used anyways, but it's also to prevent her friends from calling or her trying to go on the internet or do things on her phone. So it cuts off at 7 p.m.
Cameron, what did you think about your mom saying, or what do you think about 7 o'clock? Is that a good time? Is that too early? Would you like a little later?
Well, so far I think it's a good time because, like, well, staying on the internet for a long time isn't really good for you. And, like, plus I like reading, and I want to get at least all my stuff done before I go on the phone.
Okay, so you accept this for now, you said. When will you no longer accept it? Like, is it next year you want an increase in time?
Maybe when I'm at least 10.
Oh.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
That's next year, Shanisha, so brace yourself. Ashley and
Right.
Olivia, as I said, you're in a bit of a different situation because you're now at 14 and you have this following on social media, some 2 million people on TikTok. I'm curious for you, Ashley, in the conversation about presentation and beauty and what's appropriate to wear and all of these things. How did you address it?
Um, the crop tops I had a hard time with, and I still do. I try. Olivia has always struggled with body positivity with herself, and her friends were all wearing crop tops. So when she did, I kind of allowed it. It still bothers me, but I saw her starting to accept her body more. So
Yeah.
there's that. When it comes to social media and all of that, I kind of just let her be herself. And also screen time. I use screen time when it comes to groundings and getting grades up.
Right, right.
So,
You use that as the leverage. Olivia, I'm curious because I said you live in two worlds here. You are a kid or a teenager on social media, but you also have a business model from it. What do you believe parents don't get? Or as Will Smith famously said, parents don't understand about social media, particularly with young girls.
Um, for me, I feel that social media helps me kind of get away with some things and it helps me express myself. And some things I post, I feel like it's something I can't really talk about with others. And so whenever I post it or share it with like other people, it's like easier to express my feelings that way instead of going to people and talking about it.
I'm curious from your perspective, though, Ashley. Do you follow some of her friends just to see what they are doing? I didn't know parents were doing this, and I have a friend who has some fake Instagram accounts solely to follow her children's friends.
oh yeah, I even when there's a new friend, I mean, I check everybody out. Like I know all their friends. If they come over, they're usually really shy. I already know who you are. I've already seen your socials.
So, Olivia, do you know your mom is spying on your friends?
Yeah, she's told me and I've caught her a couple of times going through my friends' social medias, and I don't really have a problem with it because I know she's just looking out for me, but at the same time, I feel like I should have, my,
Personal
personal space.
And mom is saying you don't get personal space at 14.
I mean, she's 14. No,